It's 7 o'clock. The office is dark. You're a newly promoted technical lead, staring at a mountain of 100 emails, muttering, "Why am I so out of control?" Now, you're telling yourself that the obsession with personal execution that got you promoted is what will make you a successful leader, right? Well, let me tell you this. That same obsession is the precise mechanism that you will get fired. Now, organizations love to treat leadership as a simple, logical progression. You're the star developer who writes flawless code. You're the elite sales rep crushing quota every quarter. The reward feels obvious. They hand you a manager title, a slightly better chair, and they call it a skills upgrade. Skills upgrade is corporate filler. This is a radical psychological shift. Getting promoted feels like the ultimate validation of your professional worth. Better title, bigger number on the payslip, respect from the executive team. So you assume you just need to keep doing exactly what you were doing and maybe manage a few vacation requests on the side. The data says otherwise, and the data is brutal. 60% of first-time managers receive zero formal training for this psychological shift.
What?
Within 24 months of promotion, 60% of them fail completely, demoted, fired, or burned out. Half of all active managers right now are rated ineffective by their own teams.
Oh, thank you so much.
But sitting at the desk at 7 in the evening, the failure doesn't feel psychological. It feels like a time management problem. You think you need a better inbox filter, or you need to sleep 1 hour less so you can finally clear the backlog. It has nothing to do with time management or inbox overload. It is a profound psychological crisis. Now, researchers Todd Moore and Manuel London gave this crisis a clinical name: Identicide, the deliberate, painful killing of your old professional identity. And here's the hard part. You will want to defend that old identity because those traits built the company in the first place. Your direct control over output, relentless technical perfectionism, absolute self-reliance. Well, when the servers melt down at 2 in the morning or a major client threatens to walk, those are the tools you use to force a project over the finish line when everyone else has gone home. You do not survive without them as an individual contributor, but those traits do not scale either. In a leadership role, they become toxic. Think about the most brilliant trauma surgeon in the hospital, promoted to chief of medicine. Your instinct says they should still scrub in, show the juniors how it's done. If a patient is crashing and a junior hesitates, the chief steps in. Lead from the front, command respect. But if you walk into the operating room and grab the scalpel from the new surgeons, you aren't leading, my friend. You're saving the patient, of course, but you are interfering. You are sabotaging the system. The problem is deeper than process. Your entire self-worth, the core of your professional dopamine hit, is tied to your personal expertise. You spent 10 years mastering that scalpel. If you stand in the corner watching someone struggle with an incision you could do flawlessly in your sleep,
Wait a minute.
you feel useless, right? Well, when you do the work yourself, you control the output. You get the praise. You feel valuable. When you become a manager and cling to that dopamine hit, you destroy your team's capacity to function. Managers who refuse to commit Identicide fall into 2 traps. Now, trap 1 shows up in high-stakes environments. A global trading floor, a live deployment, anywhere millions of dollars can disappear in a microsecond. The team is moving too slowly. Your instinct fires. Leaning over a veteran's shoulder and dictating the exact keystrokes feel like winning, right? If they're hesitating on the trigger, you grab the mouse. That's what I call the R5 dominant behavior, relying on rank and positional power for a 5-second ego hit. And on the surface, it works. The button gets clicked, the code deployed, the money is saved, the business survives the day. Surface compliance is achieved instantly. The structural cost, however, is massive. Discretionary effort dies. Risks stop being raised. Mistakes get hidden. You traded long-term capability for a fleeting illusion of control. Now you leave the room feeling like a hero. The team labels you a micromanaging control freak. And the worst part, they stop thinking critically. They stop solving complex problems because they know, without a shadow of doubt, you will swoop in and fix it yourself before the deadline. The moment you walk out of the door, the system collapses. That's the trap of the overbearing expert. Now, if grabbing the mouse is a trap, the natural reflex is to overcorrect. And you swing the other way. You become the ultimate collaborator now. You get promoted to product leadership and spend your days drafting massive RACI matrices, endless syncs with suppliers, marketing executives, complete cross-functional alignment before anyone makes a single move. It's more like, let's take this offline. Becoming a manager is not about becoming a boss. It's about becoming a hostage. You tell yourself you're building consensus, making sure everyone feels heard. In reality, you wait for everyone. You lack the leverage to make the move. Meetings never end. Peers block initiatives. Direct reports sit on their hands until you physically command the next email. Now you are held hostage by your own title. Terrified of being the R5 dictator, you get tangled in conflicting demands. You expect autonomy. Nobody moves. Every decision waits for you. Now we can explain why this happens mechanically, using the E8 operating loop under pressure. Now this is a biological reality. When the team stalls, your nervous system interprets the delay as a threat. Judgment gets hijacked. You don't see a systemic leadership failure. You don't see a lack of clarity. You see a technical failure. Or you assume that the team doesn't have your work ethic. You decide the only way to survive is to deploy your own expertise. You scan for threats, you panic, you bypass the team, you do the work yourself. The team withdraws further, operational stress increases, you double down on control. A brutal, exhausting cycle of reaction momentum. You work harder, you apply technical genius late into the night, and you make the operational situation worse. See, hard work fails. So if technical expertise makes you a hostage, what actually drives high performance? Now, Natalie Lorenkova's Academy of Management Research tracked different leadership styles over time. Picture a graph. X-axis, time, the full life cycle of a team's project. Y-axis, performance and execution speed. 2 lines, 2 styles. The blue line is direct leadership R5 dominant, strict orders from behind the desk. The green line is empowering leadership, outcome-led, shared ownership, deep inquiry. Week 1, the blue line wins. Not even close. 0 ambiguity, fast execution. You point at the target. They click the button, the project moves. That instant hit of successful execution is exactly where managers get trapped. Follow the graph further and the blue line flatlines. You cannot sustain micro-level control forever. You run out of hours. The manager becomes a router. Work only moves as fast as their personal ability to process orders. Now, if the manager goes offline, the entire network dies. Every packet of work must pass through their desk. It doesn't matter how fast or skilled you are personally. A human can only process so many decisions per hour. Escalations create a massive, immovable bottleneck. Meanwhile, the green line starts slow. Building true alignment takes time. Then it crosses the blue line and soars. The team stops waiting for the human router. Collective learning replaces compliance. They build shared mental models. People stop blindly following orders and start architecting solutions themselves. So how do you move from the blue line to the green line by tomorrow morning? 3 shifts. Shift 1 is changing the signal. Your first instinct might be, give better, more detailed, foolproof instructions so people finally understand the assignment without constant questions. Wrong move. Stop transmitting directives. Start landing outcomes. You have to change the frequency of the broadcast you're sending the team. Look at the documented case of Winona Finch. She was tasked with launching a major Latin American teen magazine. 0 market experience, 0 P&L background. She couldn't play the overbearing expert even if she wanted to. She simply did not have the technical background to lean over anyone's shoulder and dictate the keystrokes. She had no choice but to rely on her own team. Her lack of technical expertise forced a culture of inquiry. She asked questions. She synthesized the intelligence in the room. She held people accountable to their own ideas instead of dictating hers. She focused on what the final outcome must be, not how every step of the process happened. So, stop saying, do it this way. Instead, say, here's the outcome we need. Here's why it matters to the business. I want to know how we can approach it. The question transfers the weight of ownership to the people doing the work. It turns passive bricklayers into active architects. But there's a real risk. Ask that open question to a team trained on directives, and the room may go silent. People are terrified of looking foolish, which is why Shift 2 exists. Now, Shift 2 is building the floor. That's the psychological safety. And no, this is not an HR safe space. This is not feedback sandwiches and taking every disagreement offline and running engineering like a country club. Safety without accountability isn't leadership. It's the comfort zone. The goal is the learning zone. Now, Google's Project Aristotle studied roughly 180 teams. They expected the secret of high performance to be elite resumes, Ivy League degrees, the perfect talent mix. The data proved them wrong. The number one predictor of elite execution was psychological safety. Amy Edmondson's research from Harvard maps this into 4 zones based on the balance of safety and accountability. Now, high safety, low accountability is the comfort zone. Everyone's friendly, no standards, the business slowly dies. Low safety, low accountability is pure apathy. People quit in place. Low safety, high accountability is the anxiety zone. You point at monitors where minor typos feel fatal. The team hides mistake until the servers catch fire. You don't split the difference. Now, Shift 3 is raising the bar together. You must engineer high safety and high accountability at the same time. You cannot demand elite execution without the structural support to fail, analyze that failure, and learn from it. Look at Bill Walsh. He took over a 2-14 San Francisco 49ers team, the worst team in professional football. He didn't walk into a locker room, smash a whiteboard, and scream motivational quotes about winning the Super Bowl. That's the R5 dominant fantasy. He built a standard of performance, non-negotiable behavioral norms, down to how players tucked in their suits. Accountability and safety were equally high. The standard was crystal clear, applied evenly from the star quarterback to the receptionist. When a complex system breaks under pressure, you don't ask, who do we blame? You ask, where did the system break? Personal threat level goes down. Operational standard stays absolute. Accountability stops feeling like a stressed boss yelling in a status meeting. It becomes a shared culture where the team looks at a failure and says, we just don't operate that way here. So kill the expert. Become the architect. Now, how do you know the transition actually worked? Use this diagnostic, the 2-week leadership system test. Walk away from your desk for 2 full weeks. No Slack, no check-ins, no answering escalated emails from the airport lounge. No secretly logging into the server to check deployment logs. Complete silence. If the team falls apart and critical decisions stall, you are still an individual contributor in disguise. If, however, they solve hard problems and grow stronger in your absence, you've built leadership into the collective. The business unit should not run on your personal manic energy. It must run on a resilient system that functions whether you are in the room or not. Now, true leadership is not about being the excellent person in the room. It is about making the room excellent. If you master the system, you eventually automate yourself out of your current job. And that leaves one question you have to answer next. Who do you become, and what is your next frontier when your team no longer needs you to survive?